quickly in your own words on what happened.
Well, marriage was defined by the state of Oregon's Constitution as between a man and a woman up until, I believe it was May of this year. Our belief that is marriage between a man and a woman, and the Bible coincides with that. We had a small bakery in downtown Gresham. We did wedding cakes, birthday cakes, all sorts of cakes. And in January of 2013, we had a gal come in and asked us to basically create a piece of artwork for something that the Bible clearly states is not the definition of marriage. So through all this, we've ended up losing our shop due to some really just mean-spirited tactics that was used by I wouldn't say all of the LGBT community, because we've met quite a few of them that are very nice, but there are some that really wanted us to close our doors, and through everything that's been done, they've harassed the wedding vendors that we did business with. They, protested, boycotted. In fact, there's still an online boycott on Facebook going on, and it did. It killed the wedding end of our business to the extent we did have to close our doors last September. And, I went back to work driving trucks, so.
Now, I saw the wedding cakes. I mean, my father was a baker, and he was one of the best, cake decorators I'd ever seen. I mean, he since he was a little boy, he worked in his, my grandfather's bakery, and all he wanted to do was decorate cakes. And so he ice cakes and ice cakes and ice cakes and ice cakes over and over and over and over again. And he was an amazing artist. And I've seen your wedding cakes. They're absolutely beautiful. And I met you guys this weekend. You guys have this in your DNA. So what are you going to do now?
Well, the thing is we dedicated everything we did in that shop to the glory of God, just like we do in everything in our life. It's all an act of worship. So to go against what the Bible says, how can you glorify God with doing something that's strictly, against what His Word says? So, at this point...
Let me, hang on just a second. Before you go in there, I want to read something that your wife said in the story in the Blaze. Our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is, you disagree with somebody's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. Second is that to love someone means you must agree with everything they believe or do. Both are nonsense. So... If I'm a listener and I'm hearing you talk about this, you're talking about the Bible an awful lot, and I'm a listener and I don't believe in the Bible, and I'm hearing, okay, get over the Bible thing and whatever, you're a hater. Can you address that and kind of what your wife said in the Blaze story?
Well, okay, she posted that to the business page, and that's actually a quote from Rick Warren. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, yeah, I am.
But, yeah, so, it's very true. It's not about hate. It's not about intolerance. It's strictly about adhering to our faith. I mean, I don't expect everybody to agree with me, but I expect that I would get the freedoms that the Constitution provides me to do that.
Okay, so if somebody comes into because this is where I am. Look, I believe what I believe, but, if you're gay or lesbian, you're telling me you can't change your point of view. Well, I'm telling you the same thing about my lifestyle. I believe in God. There's times I don't want to believe in this stuff. It's not easy. It's not easy. Just like you would say if you were gay, it's not easy being gay in today's world. I know. It's not easy being religious in today's world either. So we have that in common. So what you choose to do with your life is your deal, man. That's your deal. This is mine. Can't I respect you and say, first of all, why do you want a cake made from somebody who doesn't believe that, you're doing the right thing? And second of all, just go find somebody else to make a cake. I don't hate you. Can't I have my right to who I am as well?
Well, and that's kind of it in a nutshell. I mean, we have no problem making cakes for anybody, any sexual preference. It just has to do with that specific event, And like I said down there in D.C., they're return customers. This is not the first time they've come in. So it was not about hate. It was not about discrimination. It was strictly about the definition of marriage and what I believe to be true.
So you knew them. They were repeat customers. Did you know them? I mean, in more than hey, thanks very much for stopping by. Did you know them?
They had come in and actually ordered a wedding cake for one of the girls' moms and paid for it a couple years prior. I've seen so many customers and I'm horrible with names and faces, so I didn't recognize her right off the bat. It wasn't until I actually got the complaint from the DOJ that I realized who it was.
Okay. You brought up a great point, too, which is the Oregon Constitution specifies that marriage is between a man and a woman, and it was this is an amendment approved in 2004 by 13 points in Oregon. I mean, they're basically asking you to make a cake for an event that the Constitution says is illegal.
And then you lost your place because of it.
Yeah, what the odd part about it is see, the state of Oregon was actually in violation of their own statute. You know, all the county clerks in the state of Oregon were not issuing same-sex marriage licenses, which actually puts them in violation of their own statute. Now they're expecting me to abide by something that the state itself will not abide by, which is very ironic and hypocritical.
Wow. How did you not turn out? I mean, you don't sound bitter about this. I think I would have been. After all of this and everything you've just said, I think I'd be a little bitter after it.
Well, if you read the book of James, it says, consider it pure joy when you're persecuted for the name of Christ. And if they're going to persecute me for standing by God's word, then it's pure joy.
I have to tell you, I met you guys. Pat was pissed at me because I didn't walk you over to His Highness Pat. But he was like, they were there? I didn't meet them? You didn't introduce me? I'm like, I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness. My wife spent some time talking to you both, and I found you both very reasonable, kind, courteous, quiet, gentle. I mean, I really felt you guys were really good people, which is good to know, because there are some people who are like, yeah, them gays, I'll tell you what. And what is that? That's not
that attitude is not an attitude of love.
No, it's not.
We're to show love of Christ to all people we meet, and to be downright spiteful and hateful is be wrong, and that's not me. Despite the lies that have been spread, it's not about that. I liken it to, if your child wants to go run out and play in the street, they might throw a fit when you tell them no, but you don't let them do it because that's not loving, you know. Now, in this situation, by no means am I calling anybody a child, but I'm saying I would not help somebody do something that I feel might be detrimental.
Well, but it doesn't,
salvation.
Quite honestly, to me, it doesn't matter what you think is right or wrong about me. You tell me about my lifestyle. Yeah, well, stand in line. I got a lot of people telling me what to do. So what matters to me is that we all retain our right to be who we are and really celebrate diversity. They have a right to go do that. Go do that. That's fine.
It's amazing that wasn't a violation of your religious sensibilities. It's amazing to me that somehow the Constitution, the First Amendment, didn't protect you guys.
Yeah, it's totally being ignored by this administrative court. They've totally ignored all constitutional rights. In fact, they said that it's not allowed in the court, that the Attorney General of the state of Oregon has to actually take care of that. And,
that's crazy.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just a totally different scenario. Brad Abakian, the Commissioner of Bureau of Labor and Industry, seems to be the judge, jury, and executioner in this case.
So, have you changed your mind at all on like where you live and what you do? And I mean,
well, see what I actually don't. I don't live in the Portland metro area. We live up towards Mount Hood. You know, and honestly, you know, we're supposed to be salt and light. If I go run and hide, I can't be salt and light. You know, so that's one of those things where, you know, change of venue might be nice, but then again, I'm going to go where God leads me.
All this brings up an interesting question, which is, when do we get cake?
Well, I really thought your interesting question, Stu, was going to be this. We have like 400,000 square feet down in Texas. Why don't we have a bakery there?
It's an excellent question.
I do believe.
It's an excellent question.
I do believe a few things fall into place. We may have to have our own bakery at the studios. I'm just saying. Aaron, God bless you and your wife, Melissa. I urge everybody to read the article on the Blaze. I mean, Aaron, or maybe it was Melissa, gave a great compliment. They said, thank you for having a website that actually cared about getting the story right. I can't imagine how many stories were written about you two, and it was not, it wasn't exactly accurate.
Yeah, well, a lot of them were just downright dishonest, you know. But yeah, we really appreciate the Blaze doing such a good job of telling the truth and telling it like it really is, you know. But yeah, and it was really nice meeting you guys, and you know, I appreciate all you do.
Well, thank you very much, and it was really probably the highlight
nice
was
not meeting you,
not meeting Pat. Yeah. I'm thinking. Yeah. Aaron, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
God bless. Sweetcakesweb.com. Sweetcakesweb.com. If you would like to, see more, follow them and learn more about their cakes. All right.
There's another story too, Glenn. Did you see this one from New York, where farm owners, they would open up their farm for occasional weddings, and decided not to do a gay wedding, and now have been fined $13,000 by New York State because the weddings actually occurred inside their home.
I have a serious question. And I'm not meaning this smart. I'm serious question. When I was growing up, there used to be signs in stores that said, we retain the right to refuse service to anyone.
Apparently that doesn't exist
Does that
anymore.
not exist anymore?
Apparently not.
Well, definitely not.
But wait a minute.
It's certainly not in New York.
If it's my property.
I know.
And it's.
Yeah, this farm story is as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
Than the bakery.
I was walking down the street here in New York, yesterday, and I'm walking by a woman, and she just gave me the stink eye of death. It was quite amazing. And I thought, I understand silent bigotry, because there are places that if I wanted to live in New York, I'm not getting into a co-op. They're not going to vote me in. Mm-hmm. And no one will say, it's that Glenn Beck. It's because he's a conservative. They just are not going to vote for me. It's the silent bigotry. Where is anybody standing up on saying, hey, just because you vote differently, I know I live around neighbors who voted for Barack Obama. I know that. I don't have a problem with living next door to them, being neighbors with them. What is it? What are we turning into? We are so much better than this.